Look, the way to life, it's going to be a straight and narrow way, sisters and brothers. He said, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which lead unto what?
Life.
And that's the salvation that everybody's seeking for, ain't it?
Yes.
You know, people talk about in the world, they want to be saved and all that type. Look, in order for you to really get saved, you know, because we know the salvation that you've been going here for some time. First, your salvation going to start in the mind. You know, it's going to start with a change in your heart, sisters and brothers. But still, there's a physical change that's going to take place at the return of Jesus. That's when we're going to take on everlasting life. That's when the process starts, you know, because some people are going to get everlasting life in the first resurrection. Some people are going to get everlasting life at the second resurrection. And then some people are going to hit the lake of fire at the second resurrection, sisters and brothers. However, you know, ultimately what we trying to get life, right? Mm-hmm. And us trying to get this life, we're going to have to stay on a narrow road and have to go in through the straight gate. That's what Jesus is saying. Because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which lead unto life. It's not going to be the common way, in other words. It's not going to be like what everybody is used to. It's not going to be on Sunday. That's not the narrow path. That's not the straight gate, sisters and brothers. Not going to find it in Islam or that type of doctrine. You're not going to find it there. Look, that's still kind of broad. That may not be broad as a so-called Christianity, but it's still broad, ain't it? Look, that ain't the way. The way the Lord is talking about, you're going to find it somewhere in a small church like this. You understand? That's where you're going to find it at. You're not going to find it on your normal, everyday Sunday worship, sisters and brothers. But guess what, though? Most people ain't looking for that. Most people are used to being in the big congregations and all that type of stuff. Look, if the Lord popped up, he won't pop up over there. He's going to pop up in the places where the word is being preached, sisters and brothers. And that's the advice that he's putting on the table, because straight is the gate and narrow is the way which lead unto life. And how many find it? Few, right? Mm-hmm. That's why you got so many people being deceived, because he say, few there be that find it.